I want to start by presenting the agenda. So we'll spend the first fraction or part by why to upgrade to Make and how to do it. I'll provide some of the supporting tools as well. And at the end, we'll go and answer all of your questions that you might have regarding this whole big transition. Why to upgrade? It has been over a year, and since then we launched many cool things on top of that Make that was already existing. But just to remind you, those are some of the biggest features that I selected for you. So we have new architecture on AWS. Everyone is reporting an increased speed, especially on the big scenarios that some of you tackle. There are a lot of new granular plans with teams and team roles that everyone was waiting for. There is parallel webhook execution for a single scenario same time. You can now search scenario execution history. There's full API, the new forms interface. So visually, it is more appealing. That applies for the data store as well. And lastly, that the one that everyone is asking about is the legacy plan. So if you have an Integromat plan on whichever pricing point, even if you have a discount or coupon or anything, when you move to Make, you will keep the same pricing you had on Integromat. With that, you'll get the same, if not more features. It really depends on the specific plan on Make. So everything stays the same basically for you or better. Since last year, we were not sleeping around, and we have many new functions, many new features that we released. One of the big ones is custom and system variables. We recently, I think like a month ago, released custom functions. There are scenario inputs, select on demand scheduling, run scenarios via API, and accessing webhook logs. That's just to talk about some of the things that are currently on Make and are not on Integromat. Aside from that, there are already things that we are removing from Integromat to nudge you and to encourage you to move to Make. So as we speak today, you cannot create new organizations on Integromat anymore. You cannot create custom apps on Integromat anymore. And we are shipping new apps and update of the existing models only on Make. We no longer do that for Integromat. In a couple of months, we will also end the support that we talked about last year. This very date means that if you ask questions before this, we'll answer if it's on Integromat relating to anything. But after this date, you will need to upgrade to Make to get that issue resolved with our customer agent. Of course, after this date, if you are still not yet on Make, you can ask our agent. But as the first thing that he will most likely answer is, hey, please upgrade to Make, and we'll help you resolve this issue over there. So that is 30th of June. And 30th of September, our big date, is the end of Integromat platform. At that time, all of the scenarios that you have active, running, we'll deactivate all of them by that, and it's a sunset of the Integromat platform. You will not be able to edit it or turn it on. And there are a couple of questions regarding affiliates. So the affiliate payouts that you have on Integromat will be either moved to the Make affiliate dashboard or will be paid out before this date. Then how to upgrade. This is a big section, so please pay attention. But it basically is either fast track upgrade or standard upgrade. Majority of you that are here on this call, I feel that you are eligible for the fast track. We have over 70% of paying organizations that qualify for this, and the remaining part are on the standard upgrade. To be eligible for fast track, your organization must not contain any of the collisions or errors. So first one is a webhook that is utilized by more than one scenario. That happens usually when you have a scenario and you duplicate it, and then you have the same webhook. So that needs to be changed. Second, rarer are the apps and models that are not published on Make. So you need to move those apps or ask the owner to move those apps to Make. And lastly, if you are using a mobile device in your scenario. So if you do that, it will lead you through the standard upgrade. But going back, the fast track, it starts all over here at the registration page. You type in your email address. This one is mine, and it will immediately say, hey, we recognize you because I had an account on Integromat, and it will lead me to the authentication page of Integromat. I will, of course, put in all of the details, my email, my password, and then it says, hey, success, make user account created. And that is the user account and not the organizations. So if I go forward, something like this will pop up. So this is the Make Upgrade Hub. This page will show with every login that you make, and it shows all of your organizations that either needs to be upgraded or can continue upgrading, as you can see here on the screen. I'm just gonna click on whichever organization that I need to do, and it will ask me which region I want to choose. So me, myself, and our headquarters are located in Prague, center of Europe. So it's probably smarter to choose Europe over here. For some of the folks that are in US, it's better to choose US for the performance. This is based on the architecture that I was talking about earlier. We built everything on cloud, on AWS, and that's why we are letting you choose which region to host your organization in to get the best performance. Ta-da! You land on Make and your organization is ready. Just gonna slow down a little, some room to breathe. I'm just gonna check some of the questions. Can we upgrade scenarios one at a time, or is it a fast track mass upgrade? It really depends. If you are a fast track, it will move everything automatically to Make, and it's gonna work on Make. In the standard migration, which you're gonna see right now, you can choose and select and combine which you move to Make. Can we automatically determine whether we qualify for fast track? So for majority, fast track is by default. So no, if you go here, everything just moves to Make quickly and rapidly. If there is something, it will lead you through the process. I'm gonna go back to the standard upgrade with the migration tool, because with this, I'm gonna cover some of the questions that are popping up. So the standard upgrade, going again, you'll see the upgrade hub. And again, this screen shows every time you log in. It will not show once you upgrade everything, but until then, it will keep showing to remind you and to help you with the process of upgrade. So as I talked, there are three things to be aware of. That is the webhook collision. That happens usually when you copy scenarios. You need to recreate a new webhook for each of the new scenarios, so there are no duplicates. You will see it in the migration tool that I'm gonna introduce later, but just to be aware of this. So I'll go back here. So if you click on continue upgrading or create a Make organization, it will lead you to this page. It will ask you, hey, there are two scenarios. You can see I named them with scenario with webhook collision. There are two scenarios and they are using the same thing. So I'm gonna click open. It's gonna show me the scenario with the webhook, and I'm gonna edit and create a new one or a new address. Then all of the scenarios are eligible to be migrated. I click fast migration. Wow, and all done. The second problem that I was mentioning were custom apps. So majority of the custom apps are already on Make. If you have your custom app that you created on your own, you will need to click migrate and install. It will do everything for you. And then there is a third category of not migrated custom apps, which, for example, I don't know, my friend Peter created a custom app, but he haven't migrated to Make yet. So I will need to ask him, hey, can you migrate this app to Make? So my scenario that is using your app can also work on Make. This is primarily for those that someone created and have not migrated yet, but this consists of very small percentage of people, so I don't think it will impact you. So you can see there are migrating custom apps in the process, and you can see app is not available. Please contact the app's owner. So if you do have an app and you do know the owner, please contact them and tell them, hey, I want to use this app on Make as well. Would you please move it? It's very simple. Lastly, the third problem that creates or enables the standard upgrade is the mobile device. You can see here I was using a scenario which uses my mobile device, and it gives you an option to create a mockup device. I'm just going to select to create a mockup device. It's going to create something. It's going to create dummy phone on Make, and I then can go to Make and replace it for my actual phone. So yeah, you can see it's gonna create a dev device of my iPhone over here, and then I'm just gonna replace this device with my actual device. After resolving all of those, or some of those, it's usually any of those would trigger a standard upgrade. You will end up on a screen that says migration settings, click start migration. So you click it, it's gonna take, I don't know, usually a few seconds. And within a couple of seconds, you'll get to this screen with call to action button, go to target. You click on it and boom, you are on Make. I'm just gonna explain how we mark fully upgraded organizations on our side. We mark once all of your scenarios are on Make, everything is completed. All of the scenarios in Integromat are inactive, and it happens that when you move them to Make, it activates on Make and it deactivates on Integromat. So the process will take care of everything that you do. Yeah, and then we'll mark the organization as fully upgraded, and you will no longer be using Integromat anymore. Some of the questions were revolving around extra operations. So while there is the option of extra operations on Make as well, it is currently cheaper, but they do end with the current billing cycle. So it's a bit different. In the world of software and SaaS, there is nothing like indefinite or for forever existing extra operations. So we decided to make this move. And if you do have extra operations and migrate, you will get them in form of a coupon that you can redeem anytime. So it's usable for you when you are on Make. Supporting tools, I was mentioning something like Upgrade Hub as one of the tools. This will show every time you sign in, there are going to be all of your organizations. So I just have a couple over here on my account. Most of them I have started the upgrade, but I haven't finished it. So I can continue and go finish it. You can access it over here, but the easier way would be to go to make.com, sign in, and you'll see it as well. Then there is the migration tool. This way you can select each and the individual scenarios that you would do. It's probably for more advanced users. I would recommend to go with the fast track and have the whole process lead me. But if you want to cherry pick, you can go to migrate.make.com. You can select the organization, what is the source, and then select the target, and then what you want to move from one to the other. There is documentation if anyone is interested. There is a section called Upgrade to Make, and you can go to make.com/en/help/home. Okay, that was everything that I wanted to present today. And now I'll try to go dive into questions. Before this session, you asked about some of the questions in the type form that we collected. So what about the pricing? Pricing stays the same as on Integromat. Even if you had a discount or something, you will get the same or better plan with the same pricing. Do we need to prepare before the upgrade? I don't think there is anything that you need to prepare other than if you know about some of the duplicate webhooks, you should go check that and resolve it. But if you go through the process, it will tell you where is the collision of webhooks. So you don't necessarily need to prepare beforehand. Will webhook change and workflows need to be updated? No, webhooks will be redirected from Integromat to make, basically forever. Will I be able to purchase extra operations? Yes, you will be. We are also considering something like auto purchasing extra operations, and I'm not sure when we'll roll it out, but our team is in a discovery mode of this feature. What if something goes wrong during the process? Everything would roll back. So until everything is completed and successful, everything runs on Integromat. And within that moment of upgrade, it goes like this, and everything is on make. So if there is anything wrong happening, it will roll back to its default existing state. Are there going to be duplications and reconnections? No. Or whenever it turns on make, it will turn off on Integromat. So there is no extra steps needed over here. And okay, let's dive into the questions. All of the existing Integromat webhook endpoints are on the hook.integromat.com subdomain. Will they stay the same? How long for? They will stay the same. They are redirected. And I think that's something we need to take on, and it's going to be forever. So no need to worry about the webhooks that are scattered all over the internet. I'm going to click resolved. Can we upgrade scenarios one at a time with fast track, or is it a whole system upgrade all at once? If you are eligible for fast track, it's gonna go like this, and you are gonna be on make. If you have some kind of collision or anything, it will guide you through the process. Alternatively, and not recommended, you can go to migrate.make.com. You can choose your organization and move it over there, but it's very clunky and it's easier to follow the standard procedure to just upgrade. I have a couple of models that have an upgrade available. Can I migrate to make prior to upgrading this model? I would recommend to upgrade those models and then do it, but our team has prepared for it to work even if those are not upgraded. But it's always best to stay on the latest version. Do you offer managed migration for a price? We do not offer something like that, but our partners do offer. So you can go to our home website, search for partners, and they do offer this option. You can search the partners based on the location and services and so on. So we do not do that. It should be fairly simple. But if you actually do need help with this, you can either contact support or one of our trusted partners listed on our website. What happens to scenarios that have not run in past 90 days when using? What happens to? Nothing will happen to them. I will just mark the Integromat organization as done and make organization as fully upgraded, and that's it. We have lots of mission critical scenarios, some very large. We need to understand in advance what issues to expect to avoid operational disruption. In big cases like this, I don't know how large your organization is or how complex are your scenarios. You will most likely go through the standard upgrade. It will show you all of the scenarios that you can migrate. You can choose one by one, or you can choose all of them. I would recommend to do this, for example, on Friday, where it's not so critical for you, but the whole process is very fast and it's not disrupting any of your scenarios. We know that our business is very business critical for majority of our user base. Therefore, we put extra attention to detail to the whole process, not to cause any of the problems. If you follow this, there shouldn't be anything that should disrupt your process at all. When upgrading from Integromat to make, if someone makes a webhook call, will it be queued to be action on make, or will it be lost? It will be queued to be action on make, as it will be redirected. You don't need to worry. Does make offer a free version as Integromat does? Of course it does. We are keeping the free version on make as well. with 1000 operations. So you can go there and try, or upgrade your current one if you have your current one. I have one scenario that needs to run in US and one in EU. Is that possible? Also, is there a list of apps not supported by Make that is supported by Integromat? That's a good question. If you have one organization and one is running for US and one for EU, it's going to be that one that is more distant to you is going to be just a tiny bit slower. We want you to optimize. So, of course, if it's your hosting region where you're located, it's speedily, almost godly fast. But if it's like, I don't know, I'm in EU and I would have a US server, I have quite a few organizations like that, it still works. It's still like great speed. So you can have it both in one organization, or you can have two organizations for this. I wouldn't recommend. It's easier for me to manage my scenarios within one organization. The second question is if there is a list of apps not supported by Make that is supported by Integromat. Everything that is supported by Integromat is also supported by Make, and there are many, many more apps that are also supported on Make. For how long are the coupons for extra operations valid after the migration from Integromat to Make? I believe it's 1 year from when you get them, but I'm not 100% sure over here. I think 1 year. How would the billing system work for Make and Integromat if we have some modules in Make, rest in Integromat? So for the time being of the transition, you need to pay on one of those two. You'll get the second one for free for the time of the upgrade, but you have limited time to upgrade. And we use PayPal on Integromat and Stripe on Make because we have seen all of the better features that they offer. So you just go to Make, put in your billing details. It will transition from Integromat to Make instantaneously, and then you don't need to worry about billing. You will not be double charged. It will be just charged on Make, and then you can transition your models. If we don't migrate some scenarios to Make, will they be deleted on Integromat, or we can leave them there to upgrade later in the future? So it really depends when. This is a very time-specific question. You should migrate everything. You can just leave it turned off on Make. And after we end Integromat, you will no longer be able to access those scenarios. I hope that answers the question. Can we upgrade scenarios one at a time, some of them using fast track and other using standard? No, this is for the whole organization. So each organization is fully fast track or the organization is standard. The fast track is like this, it's fast. So if you're eligible, you'll be on Make within seconds, and all of your scenarios, data stores, connections, everything will be over there. What steps we can undertake after migration to verify scenarios are working as expected? Well, you can still log into Integromat even after that. You can see the log, how it was, and how it is turned on Make, so you can compare. If I upgrade to Make, can I stay on the existing pricing model and operations model and the same pricing when purchasing additional extra operations? Yes, you can, and you will. Also, regarding the coupons for extra operations after migration, are the coupons split, or do you get all of the operations in one coupon? They are split based on how many extra operations you have. I'm not exactly sure about the math, but it's based on chunk and your plan. The extra details are in the documentation, on Make documentation, when you probably type extra operations. So you'll get one or more depending on if you have like 1,000 or 100,000, right? Are there any changes in integration of models like Google Sheets, Slack? So as I said, almost in the beginning, we stopped updating things on Integromat and we continue to do so on Make. So the only changes that could be there is that we added more endpoints over there on Make. I've seen complaints on Integromat Facebook group that some scenarios don't work properly after migration. Does Fast Track migration address this now? That might have been the case when we just launched a year ago. After that, we spent a fair share of time, effort, and sweat to fix all of that. If you read the sentiment of the Facebook group right now, I think you'll see that all of the positive stuff. Review when this post was done, but I think we haven't seen any complaint for quite some time, quite a long time. If you try to start a fast track, the system will automatically tell us if we comply all the requirements and will send us to this exactly as you say, or right. Can we get demo version to verify all things before moving from Integromat to Make? Well, you can go to make.com. You can register with a different email that you are not using on the Integromat, and you can just play around, test it. I think you'll be happy. After that, you can, of course, go to register and put your actual email that you use, and it will take you swiftly to Make. Any improvements to logging for Integromat to Make? Felt like the logging was very broad and tedious to use for Integromat. Logs are one of the topics that one team is focusing on big time. I now have been using Make for quite some time, so I don't know, but the logs, the team is dedicated to improve the logs. So I hope you'll be pleasantly surprised. In the fully upgrade to Make a slide, it says all scenarios in the Integromat that have been run in last 90 days have been migrated. What does this mean? So we will mark you fully upgraded if all of the scenarios that have run in past 90 days are on Make. If there is something still that ran like 60 days ago, right? Like, I don't know, if something ran in January, but I haven't migrated it, we can't, or like Make can't mark me as fully upgraded because I just had this one scenario that ran in January. So after after the 90 days after that, then they would mark me as fully upgraded, and that's it. Can we find documentation which describes differences between Integromat and Make? If you go to make.com, just the documentation of Make, over there is upgrade to Make section. Over there, you'll see all of the things that have changed and improved, and also how to upgrade in big detail. So I think over there, you'll see some of the cool things. In case I have some scenarios on Make and others on Integromat, how much time period will we be having to fully upgrade it from Integromat to Make after that? It really depends if you are paid organization or not. But if you are, then you have 60 days to do so. If not, then I don't think you have some time. It's just gonna be killed when we are gonna sunset Integromat. If we face any problems while upgrading to Make, whom do we contact? Ideally, you would contact the support that we now have. How would you know what scenarios aren't able to migrate due to issues if you are doing fast track? So if there are issues, you will not do fast track. You will go through the standard procedure and it will tell you about all of the scenarios that you need to fix. What would happen to those that can be migrated fast track? Will it switch to manual? Yes. It is as an organization, not as an individual scenario. Is migration a big bang, or can we control migration scenario by scenario? So it's either super fast by fast track, or you'll go through standard upgrade and it can go scenario by scenario. I have a website running WordPress. I have an Integromat account with 2 scenarios. How to transfer Integromat to Make? Is there any special steps for WordPress? No special steps for WordPress needed for you. Everything will be done automatically. And how to transfer Integromat to Make, you just go to registration page with your email that you are using on Integromat. Okay, thank you, everyone. I hope it brought some clarity to all of you and it was insightful. And we'll be sending the recordings in just a couple of days.